Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's Ryan here, and today I'm going to talk to you. I don't know. I'm just going to style it. I thought I was going to talk about more about this book here, Principles by Ray Dalio. You got these principles that I love so much that are kind of cool. They put things in perspective. Maybe I'll talk a little bit more about them, but I just want to make sort of like a podcast or whatever. I guess I will start with something that's on here. The number one thing on here on life principles is embrace reality and deal with it. 1.1 is be a hyper realist. Every time I hear realistic or realist, I always think about basically sort of limiting yourself, right? Because I think a lot of us often, have been taught, depending on what literature you read or what books or things you listen to, that you can achieve whatever you want, right? You can accomplish your dreams, right? And I really think that I want to say bullshit, but that's not really the word. It's really more that it's like you don't want to limit kids, right? You don't want to tell them what they can or can't do, right? At least not in the beginning. It's when you get older, you kind of have the world sort of kind of press on you and sort of limit what's possible, and it's very difficult to get out of that, right? When essentially what happens is things get difficult, and when things get difficult, you get lazy or you quit, and or you take shortcuts, you cheat, um, you get basically just get lazy. You drag your feet. It's kind of like my son when he does his homework. He like when it gets too difficult and he gets frustrated, he just stops, right? And I kind of had that feeling today when I was playing Monopoly and lost. There was a point where, I'm like listening to myself, and I just lost all my money to my wife, or not even. I haven't lost all my money yet, but I was about to. Basically, I landed and I had to sell all my houses, and essentially I would have to go around the board 3 times to get a chance to recover. In the meantime, she's putting hotels down, and you get this feeling of basically quitting. And I lost. It was fine. It's one of those things where it's not a big deal, but it's kind of low stakes because it's just a game. But like I've always liked looking at how you kind of feel during a game as something you can apply to life. Now, obviously, it's not the same thing, but it's just more of an analog. That's kind of why the way I view things that we do as I view things as more than just that's why I view exercise more than just exercise. I view like business. I view work more than just work. I view games more than just games. I try to anyway, because I'm trying to get this. Actually, I read this post about it. Actually, it was on Facebook, and I forgot the guy's name, but it was a pretty cool blogger. He read this. He said it's called like skill transference, right? Like the discipline it takes for you to accomplish something, like working out, you can will spill over into other areas of your life. And that's sort of what I've tried to do. I don't know if how do you feel about this, or what do you do? How do you go about choosing? I mean, like how you approach everything, right? I heard this other kind of cliche quote. It's like how you do anything is how you do everything, right? If you keep a messy car, you'll have a messy life, and of course that's too extreme to use, but it's just some of those things that just sort of reflect other parts of your life. Not necessarily true, but it's just kind of one of those things that you just how do I say this? Nothing is ever going to be like fully perfect, but you try to make it so that that's kind of why I like this book so much, because it's principles, right? You're trying to live, a principled life. You're trying to have certain principles to follow, so that when the way you manage money is the same way. I mean, how put this? This is kind of why, like, for example, infidelity, cheating on your significant other, it kind of labels you poorly, right? So it makes you dishonest, and that's the problem. So you cause a kind of a rip in principles, right? Of kind of what it means to be honest, right? And I bring this up because that's kind of what you want your life to be, right? You want things to sort of be in a line. The problem is that we run into, which is kind of hard to see sometimes, is that we we fail to see the truth, and we should you say we lie to ourselves. We tell ourselves, I guess, just lie again. Lie is too strong of a word. It's really more like we see this narrative that we create. You know, it's there's a part in this book that I really like. I can't remember what it said, but I mean, I can't remember the part it was, but it was something like you're trying to look for the truth, right? Because the problem is you need to focus more on finding the truth than being right. And often what sort of happens when you get emotional and you're trying to fight for your purpose or your right or your point of view is that we have a belief, and what we try to do is we try to find evidence to support that belief versus trying to find out if the belief is true, right? Right. Where was I going with that? I don't know. I think it's the hardest part because in the book he talks about kind of like your lower level brain. And I talked about this before, but like you have this lower level brain, and it's sort of like your monkey lizard brain. And a lot of the time, the reason why you eat bad food is because that lower level brain is taking control. The reason why you will yell, or you will scream, or you get angry, or you get sad and cry hysterically, or it's that lower level brain that sort of just takes over, right? And really what you're trying to do is you're trying to, and when you have this feeling, when you feel bad, you feel good, that's that lower level brain that's sort of like kicking in. The higher level brain, your neocortex, that's the part of that's the high level functioning brain, like what's allowing me to make this video, right? But when you get into that moment of emotion or of the lower level functioning brain, it's very difficult to think clearly. It's very difficult to make good decisions. It's very difficult to see the truth, because I'm sure if you've ever gambled, right? Maybe play poker, or I don't know, do slot machine, or bet on a fight, right? And for some reason, because you bet on a certain person, you feel like they're more likely to win. That's a pretty good example, right? Who was a good fight was Mayweather and Conor McGregor, right? So if you bet on Conor McGregor, if you did bet on Conor McGregor, your whole world sort of shift, for most people anyway, unless you're a professional gambler, but for most people, you shift towards believing that, okay, Conor McGregor is going to win, and everything that I see from now on will show that Conor McGregor is going to win. And that's because essentially you have this emotion that sort of takes control. And again, trying to figure out how to kind of bridge this all together. But I really don't have any point. I'm just kind of free flowing it here. I think I should do more of these videos because I really do like making them. And I get my 30 views. And I think if I do this right, about 10%, that means 3 of you watched the video all the way through, which, hey, that's not so bad. You know, the numbers are low. It's kind of funny how even though I say that, when I see the number, I still feel something, right? But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you got a question or comment, actually, no, before I close this video, I actually want to respond to a comment that someone made, because I have to do that respect to you, you know? I mean, don't get a lot of viewers, and you know what? It would be, I just want to recognize, I want to acknowledge people that take the time to watch stuff of mine. So let's go see 3-step habit loop. And the person was the Poke Kid. I think, what's up, man? The Poke Kid 01 says, I think you are right on why we form habits and why I don't know. Maybe you get addicted to things easily, but there's value in entertainment. Yeah, that's the one I want to talk about. Value in entertainment. Yeah, you know, I am a workaholic. I like working. I mean, you were right. Don't go crazy, but there is value, and everyone has to find their balance and take ownership on deciding their balance. Rest and relaxation, right? I actually want to talk about this specific thing because it's about, I want my play to be my work. You know, that's essentially like the whole, when I read that, that's sort of what I want to say, is that work is play. You know, that's actually for another video, I think. But, you know, I'm trying to find a way to make work play, you know, so that way when I'm playing, I'm getting paid, right? So it's turning anything I do into a game. So if I can't make money playing World of Warcraft, you know, or achieve my higher level goals in life, then I won't do it, or I'll try not to do it. How about that? I'm just using that as a rough example. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'll see you later.